We don't know exactly how long this will run. It could take a half hour to an hour.
Huh.
Okay, I'm just gonna start it. Welcome everyone to the Toku Portal podcast. It's me, Zero, here with.
Rye.
The Decade.
Chuckles?
And today we're talking about Kamen Rider Build, episode 16. This episode aired last week, but we decided to take last week off for the holidays, since there wasn't going to be a new episode this week anyways. So there's quite a bit to talk about this episode. We open up where we last left off with the reveal that Sento is actually the demon scientist Katsuragi. I had that theory that it.
Sorry, you're getting a bit of spoilers.
I was just saying, I had that theory that it was him for a while now, and now we got some more story behind it. One thing I was wrong about is that I was under the idea that Soichi may have been working for Katsuragi, this may have been part of a grander scheme of plan, but that doesn't seem to be the case according to the story we are told here. Katsuragi was planning on leaving Faust for unclear reasons, and so Soichi betrayed him by wiping his memory to manipulate him for his own use. Oh, hey, Drago. We just started, so you haven't missed anything. We're just talking about the reveal about Katsuragi being Sento. So, Decade, do you have anything to say on the matter?
Not so much about Sento. I mean, the theory's kind of been floating around, but just in that whole flashback sequence, watching Dark, aka Soichi, methodically carry out his really messed up plans, it was just pretty brutal to watch, and it makes you hate him even more. He's not just, some bad guy doing things for his own reasons. He's straight up just looks like an evil asshole. So, yeah, that was good.
Alright, Chuckle, go ahead and say your piece.
Apparently most of this stuff is a bit spoilering for me, but it's technically not the first time I've spoiled myself. That's about it.
Drago?
Drago, you ready to go, or you want me to go?
Well, about Katsuragi being Sento was pretty obvious. Kinda. You could piece the things together.
I did.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, it is good that they didn't wait out until episode 35 or something to reveal this.
Chuckles, could you mute your mic when you're not talking?
Sorry, with how the hell iPad works.
It's fine, it's just how we try to eliminate excessive noise in the background.
Hence why I mute my TV whenever I'm in a voice or video chat.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of. Wow, this podcast is weird. I guess we have two people watching. It's probably just me and King at this point. Right. Yeah, the reveal is kind of obvious, but at least we fucking confirmed it instead of waiting most of the show. Which is kind of nice because we can actually get on to more important stuff. The one problem that I saw a couple of people reviewing this say it too is all right, the episode before he was getting taken away by other people. This episode he's just standing there talking with no time limit at all.
I had that impression too. Did the writers forget he was being arrested? Also, it turns out he wasn't even being arrested.
He was fired from his position as the interim prime minister.
That's it. He was fired.
I mean, technically, maybe they're trying to keep it in the family, and not like.
Yeah,
say,
like how regular politicians do.
Pretty much. I mean, like as long as you get him away from the power source, like who cares? Um, but again, like yeah, they had a backup plan, so that didn't go too well.
Uh, also, god damn it, what was I just about to say? Oh, right. So, Soichi's ability to change objects into other objects, such as changing people's faces into someone else's face. We were,
Sounds like alchemy to me.
Yes, it does, actually. We were actually, toying with the idea that, like, maybe he was a Martian before we got the reveal that he was actually the astronaut. And now we find out he just got these powers on Mars somehow.
I mean, he could still be a Martian. Like, instead of saying like the Martian guy could have just shapeshifted into him.
Oh, actually, that's true. I didn't even think of that.
Martian Manhunter.
This is something I'm not exactly sure on how new or old this kind of information is, but I've actually noticed something with full bottles.
Go on.
Well, think about it like this. As a full bottle, the essence is a solid.
More of a gas.
Well, you hear it clanking when he shakes it.
Okay, yeah, go on.
The shaking basically stimulates it. Build, it uses it as a liquid, while the bad guys use it as a gas. That's all three states of matter.
Oh yeah, that is neat.
And if you want to, and you could possibly include it with the splash jellies, that could be a reference to the fourth state of matter, plasma.
But those haven't really been introduced in the show yet.
Pretty much.
But a weird thing is, with the toy splash jellies, even though there would be no purpose in it, the foam inside is actually colored correctly. You wouldn't see the foam yet. Some person in Japan got it and dissected the splash jellies, and the foam are correctly colored. The dragon one is blue, and the robot one is kind of a yellowish color.
You know all those formulas we see every episode? Especially on his blackboard? Yeah, those were all like written by scientists for the show. They've done their research for this.
And although it would be hard for me to figure them out because although I am good at math, advanced math can be a little overwhelming. I kind of like it that each episode number is in the form of an equation.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I thought that was cute of an effect, but I'm like, those are so fake.
Yeah, but the only one of those episode number equations I could actually figure out was just episode 1. Anything to the power of 0 equals 1.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like, I think I really started noticing that they were using like real science when his like first rider kick happens, or not rider kick. Yeah, his rider kick has it. That's correct. And then there's something that has like a circle rider kick. I think that's the one.
Panda
Rocket Panda.
Yeah, that one has the correct formula for like orbiting
launching
bodies
into
and
space.
stuff.
And also the fact that in episode 2, when he uses equations to knock the guy out, knock that robot out in one go, yeah, that somebody solved that and it is actually correct. That's what's supposed to happen.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's actually some cool information.
Yeah, they did their homework for this more science-based rider series. I'm really glad, actually.
Kind of like how they actually did some research with, although a little off topic, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. They actually walked in actual syrup to kind of get the animation right with the whole walking through the syrup swamp scene.
Gross but effective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was just
a sticky situation.
I was just watching the episode. I think the episode where Kaizaku Densha debuted, And in the previous episode, if you look at the blackboard, Sento was actually solving the equation to get Kaizoku into the best match.
Oh.
That's how he knew that these were the best matches.
He did say he's been doing a lot of formula and stuff to figure them out.
Yeah, it's on the background.
So you're saying that Ryuga, I believe it's you're talking about, correct?
No, Sento.
Sento figured it out before he even had both bottles.
Because Ryuga seems to keep getting the best match on the first try.
Yeah, he just picks them at random.
Yet
it is literally beginner's luck. It is a parody on how... It is a parody on just making science look unnecessary. We can just do chaos theory and get results.
But I believe he did it twice, and in both counts, he got the best match.
Chaos theory.
I mean, that's not exactly what chaos theory is, but the point is, like,
I don't know what to call it.
Statistically randomness.
Us in the Powerverse server, I've actually once thought of creating our own little full bottle best match. Mirror and mime.
I get it.
The silence reflection. Pentoflect.
That would be an interesting power, actually.
With the mirror, it involves optical effects, while the mime one is with sound.
We should move forward with the episode.
We should continue.
I mean, that's an interesting idea.
It is. I just don't want to.
I thought this was going to be a short episode.
I tend to get off topic a lot.
Trust me, we do too.
So, Himuro, taking over as ambassador, right? Ambassador of Toto.
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. Why was I thinking ambassador? Okay. As Prime Minister of Toto, he gets killed by Bloodstock. Just straight up.
Speaking of killing, although I do need to catch up on the episodes, I'm a little confused with the whole, when Ryuga got blamed, like, with the whole face swap and stuff, who actually got killed and such?
Okay, so you know the person that Sento looks like right now? So Sento is actually Katsuragi. He was made to look like this person, and the real person that he looks like is the person that was killed and then made to look like Katsuragi.
Oh, it was a switcheroo.
And then that buck-toothed guy sees Sento and thinks it's his friend, but it's his friend that's the one that actually died.
Oh, that explains how even though he has amnesia, he knows so much. He's very smart with physics and stuff.
Right. He's not actually that nerdy rock star guy that the other guy was like, yeah, this is totally your past. It totally wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I wonder if, like, if they're gonna bring back
a facelift.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if they're gonna bring back Katsuragi's mom as a character later on.
I think so.
They better. Cool. Like, there's so much potential for a reunion.
I mean, especially considering
what you're saying, there definitely needs to be some closure.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering she lives in, like, the northern section, and like that. Yeah, and that's the place that's attacking right now.
Yeah, and also I wanted to say, you know what? Nabeshima got his memories back, right?
Sorry, what?
Yeah,
Nabeshima got his memories back.
Oh, right.
What if the effects of the memory erasure is temporary and Sento might get his memories back as Katsuragi?
So, this was actually addressed in the episode. The nebula gas memory erasing process is temporary, but what Soichi did to Sento was something different. He didn't want his memory to come back.
But Gentoku said that it only works an hour or two. Son, Nabeshima's memory was gone for a long time.
Right. Yeah. When he said a few hours, he might have just been, like, just saying that as for instance. But
No, because the thing is, we have like we've seen a couple people come back and they only lose like a day at most. Uh, Also, it explains how like Sawa was able to know all this shit about like where their base is and all that, because we're like, wait, so she got her memory wiped and she remembers? No, it's like, yeah, you only forget like a lot of memory if like Blood Stark wipes your memory. So
right.
Mishima is
What I'm
yeah, go
saying
ahead.
is that the process that Soichi used was different than the nebula gas because he didn't want him to regain his memory. So the idea of whether or not he'll get it back isn't out of the question, but it's less likely because all we know about is how the nebula gas works.
Hmm?
Yeah, but he also wiped Nagashima's memory, and that came back.
Didn't he use the
I
nebula
think
gas for that?
no,
No.
that's what Drago I think was trying to say.
Oh. Alright, maybe. That's a possibility I hadn't considered. Meanwhile, so while his father is being killed, Gentoku is just in the other room packing up his things into a box. Because apparently, like, jail is too good for him.
Sorry, just something I want to bring up with that whole face swap thing. I have seen some posts on Tumblr showing like he somehow has a video talking about the splash jellies. How exactly did that work out? How exactly does that come into play with the face swap?
Okay, that was done before the face swap. Much before the face swap.
So, Katsuragi was designing Build's belt and the idea to replace it, the Skosh stuff, before he decided to quit Faust.
Yeah, but what about the face part? It looks like scent.
So the face part wasn't his idea. He didn't want that to happen. So, like, he did all that stuff. He made the videos. He put all his research data into his computer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells Soichi, like, yo, I'm quitting. And Soichi's like, no, you're not. Does the face swap and erases his memories. And then gives Sento his computer and says, hey, I bet you can figure this out.
Well, technically, he didn't give Sento his computer.
I'm exaggerating, okay?
Yeah, Katsuragi gave.
So
because,
was that?
We know how it happened.
So that was still Sento that made the video?
It was
no, original Katsuragi before he got his face swap made the.
But why does it look like well
Katsuragi?
Sento?
No, it's
Katsuragi. He looks like Sento, but he is Katsuragi.
They do share a similar face. That's probably why the actors were chosen, to make it easier for the audience. But they are two completely different people.
Oh.
You should probably take a look at them side by side. That might help you distinguish them apart.
Like they just have slightly different facial structures.
Like, I believe Katsuragi has higher cheekbones.
I'm never really good when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Faces, yeah, I can feel that. Faces can be hard. You should look at them side by side. That'll help you.
Okay. Excuse me. Sorry.
Alright.
So, just wait. King said something. She's like, we were talking about the face swapping and Blood Stark stuff. She said it's possible, but Stark was another effect, kind of like influence amnesia. The nebula gas amnesia is a roundabout, like an after effect deal within the rehab. Okay, I think she's basically just saying that, like, yeah, Blood Stark had like a different effect than the nebula gas thing. I mean, considering he was doing most of the research, like, he could have just made it so, like, the nebula gas could be stronger. He could just know how to manipulate it, and he just didn't tell Gentoku.
Oh yeah, that could be it. He has been keeping a lot from him. Speaking of Gentoku, he's the Prime Minister officially now. Like, just straight up. Despite everything that happened last episode, he is now officially in charge. as his first act as Prime Minister, he has a meeting with the other two Prime Ministers of Japan and tells them to cut the bullshit. They know they're going to go to war eventually. Just get it over with. Pretty blunt, but you know what? He's right. Quit beating around the bush and pretending to be friendly. Instead, they all know they're going to try and betray each other, so why not just get it over with?
In other words, it's going to turn into a free-for-all of sorts.
This definitely vindicates everything we're saying in the early episodes, with the pacing being so strange and all the character development kind of being all over the
Decade,
place.
could you speak up a bit?
Okay, sorry, I turned my mic down so I can pick up the background noise. But anyways, yeah, this pretty much confirms what we were thinking about the writer wanting to squeeze in all the character intro stuff in a couple episodes, because we're straight up in a war into episode 16. This plot is gonna get so damn crazy, and the pacing is gonna get much better. I mean, it already has. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this next arc. It's gonna be insane.
Oh well, this one, what do you call it? In the Rider War, actually. Oh wait, let's continue.
Drago, do you need a moment to collect your thoughts?
Okay, yeah. Okay, basically, right, this Gentoku saying let's just go to war for the Pandora box was very funny. Cause
I mean, he could be ballsy because he already has the thing.
Yeah, he could be. But yeah, seriously, this was that was pretty funny when, like, you could see this guy say let's just go to war, and then the Hokuto person is like, yeah, that was her first thought of going to straight up attacking Toto. Literally, like like I don't know how much time passed since the attack, in the conversation in the room and the attack of the Hokuto smash and the soldiers.
So
yeah, that time seems short.
So
Yeah,
I choose to believe that it's later that day, and that
Yeah, it is
when
later
he
that
says, "Oh yeah, Hokuto declared war on us," that he's just spouting bullshit. He's already starting
No.
revisionist history.
Yeah, he says they declared war on us this morning.
Right.
So either they sent like, oh, we're now at war after their little meeting, or maybe he just said his shit. The meeting ends and he thinks, oh, we're gonna go to war anyway. So like maybe he thought that was a declaration of war, which is bullshit because technically he started it then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm either, yeah, there was a official declaration off camera, or he's just blaming it on them because revisionist history. They declared war on us. We didn't say anything.
I mean, like, it's a goddamn civil war. I doubt anybody gives a shit who declared war first. At that point, you just gotta live. Drago, did you have anything
in
else?
the war, yeah, but afterwards.
Afterwards, you win. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Exactly. And he's getting an early start. Sorry, Drago, you can go on now.
No, that was the only thing I wanted to say.
Alright.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, Gentoku just walks in, declares war. That was interesting. I mean, what's more interesting is we're really putting forth the, like, yeah, these people were exposed to the light, and that's messing with them, and that led them to where they are. I'm like, I wonder if that's ever gonna go somewhere later on. Yeah, but this plot, man, this plot is what fucking Gaim should have been. Like,
and it begins.
Oh, no, it's literally Gaim's plot. You know how in, like, Sengoku, like, hands them the drivers, like, yeah, you're not writers, you're just fucking test subjects, you know?
So I guess it's a fruit basket case?
Oh, god damn. Alright,
Hey, gold chuckles!
No. Yeah, you're right. That's good. I mean, normally I have the terrible jokes, but...
Eh, friend of mine called me Chuckle sometime in middle school, initially as an insult. He took it as a compliment.
Nice. I mean, I just call Gaim Kamen Rider fruit salad anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. Um, but right, like the whole thing of like, oh, you weren't really a writer. We've been just manipulating your fights and everything is exactly what like I thought Gaim was gonna do because like Helheim not Helheim, Yggdrasil had like control of the whole town. They should have done that. um, but like, and then the war happens, and this is what the plot should have been, but it wasn't. But at least this show is getting right to the point, which is good because it's like, you know what, like we're gonna get here eventually. Let's not fucking waste time. Um, but the other thing is like, all right, Hokuto invades, right? And the thing we see first is like they just start shooting civilians. I'm like, what the fuck, right? Like, war crime one. Next thing, we cut to their like riders and they just blow up like multiple skyscrapers. I'm like, fucking war crime too. Like Gentoku doesn't even have to try. Like all he has to say is, look, I won the war. These assholes blew up like a section of my town or whatever. Right? Like he could be the most evil done. Yeah, pretty much, right? He can just claim self-defense. Like that's so stupid. You know that Toto is a defensive nation or neutral nation. It doesn't have that much military because the fucking Faust just messed it up, and you must have watched the news, right? Like attack its military installations. I mean, like you kind of see it at the end where it's like Kamen Rider Grease or whatever his name is kind of clearing the clearing the pathway by the entrance. But that's like one. Like I don't know. I think Toei is just being lazy, and they're like, oh, attack civilians because that's standard. Should have attacked like military installations, but who knows?
Maybe it's not that it's not a war effort. I think it's just that okay, we'll just weaken, we'll just create panic in Toto so that it'll be easier to attack.
All right, Chuckles, you have to go down. Do you want to say goodbye first?
Well, I don't exactly know how long I'll be gone. What I actually have to do tends to differ in time each time.
Say bye as though you're not coming back, but then if you're back later, surprise.
If I do that, I might do a little reference to a certain Disney cartoon. Also, how exactly do I actually leave the voice chat?
There should be a phone icon with an X.
Ah.
And I'm also close to leaving.
Oh, really? Alright, see ya.
Let's finish.
Oh, alright. So we have...
Yeah, let's keep going, yeah.
Yeah, so now let's talk about Banjo and Sento's relationship this episode. Reasonably, Banjo is pissed that Sento is actually the guy that started Faust, that led to his girlfriend getting killed. So needless to say, he blames him for it, and won't feel satisfied unless he punches him. But then Sento doesn't actually fight back at first, and when Banjo tells him to fight back, he's too strong for him. I honestly
because rabbit tank sparkling.
Right, like I can't say for how Sento is feeling during this scene, but I also can't say for what he was thinking either. Decade? Anything?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like that ambiguity because it just feels like the characters are staying true to themselves. Like, Ryuga's not. I mean, yeah, he had a few like snarky comments, but he isn't making some like lucky inspirational speech. And Sento, he's not exactly. Well, he's kind of just working through his feelings himself and kind of shutting everyone up. So Yeah, I kind of like how their differing personalities just clashed, and it felt organic, and it was nice watching Ryuga get his ass kicked. So I don't know, I liked it.
Okay. Yeah, basically Ryuga, I don't fault Ryuga for it because look, Ryuga needed to punch someone. Okay.
If I was Ryuga, I
So
would have needed to punch someone.
yeah. And also the fact that he can't do anything about it because Sento isn't Katsuragi. He has amnesia. It's like saying, okay, suppose you killed about 100 people in the 100 people and you forgot about it. Like you forgot, you got amnesia and you forgot about it. You're a completely new person.
Like, it's not the forgetting about it part, it's the completely new person part.
Yeah, okay,
Like,
you are a
can
completely
forget
new
that you
person.
killed those 100 people, but you can still be Kamen Rider Oja.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and so suppose you, okay, yeah, so suppose like I became a completely new person, yeah, you wouldn't blame me for it, right? You can't blame the person who forgot for it.
If they're a different person, then no, you can't.
Yeah, you can't. So, but you know what's funny? In the Kamen Rider, it's usually the evil organization turns a dude into a cyborg fighting machine, and then that guy rebels against the organization and fighting the organization. Here it is the dude who creates the organization turns himself into a indirectly turns himself into a monster, and then that guy fights the organization after forgetting about it.
I know, that's what I was saying. It's the trilogy of like mind wipe writers of what is it? Z-Cross is like, I was an evil like soldier dude, then I lost my memory and then I fought for good. Like Decade is like, I used to fucking lead the evil empire, then I lost my memory and then I fight for good. Like Build is, I was an evil scientist dude who made this evil organization, then I lost my memory and now I fight for good. I mean, like, we could probably put Philip in there, but like Philip's like a different
Philip's
case
innocent.
It's true, he's pretty innocent. Like, those three are not innocent though. Or at least they weren't. What were we talking about? Right, the fight. Yeah, like, it's interesting that they got the fight in. I thought like Build wasn't gonna do anything. Like I thought he wasn't gonna do like transform or anything, but then again, like, that's not really Santo's personality, so that was interesting that he transformed and kicked his ass. I'm like, holy shit, man. Ryuga's actor, I'm like, are you literally like going through the same plot from like season 2 of Amazons and like Build now? Like, is that why you got hired? Because it's just like a kid-friendly version of Amazons. I mean, not the exact same plot, but like, Drago, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more you talk about Amazons, the more I realize I need to actually sit down and watch Amazons.
Yeah, it's getting a movie, so don't worry.
We have a question.
Go on.
What do you guys think of? What are you guys' thoughts on the new Smashes? The new designs and stuff.
Oh, yeah, those Smashes are good.
Yeah, well, I mean, some are recycled, but I like it. It's they're kind of like phantoms, and they have their own characters, but they're still monsters. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, to be honest, I actually kind of like these Guardian bots better, just because with like just the darker tones, they look way more menacing, or at least a little bit better. As for like the grunt smash that keep showing up, yeah, they were actually pretty well designed too for what they like. They lasted like a couple minutes, but hey, at least we got a decent suit out of it. But then again, like, I guess this show was always going to be a Rider versus Rider show, so like, you can't really have like high enough bad guy monsters. That's just how it goes with these types of shows.
And suit recycling has been really bad in the past few years.
I mean, like, when like Amazon's was going, you could have an excuse that like the production company didn't have a time, but like it's not going this year. What the fuck is your excuse? Like you can say the movie, but I'm like that's not true, right? Like that's not an excuse. It's you could
I
say
don't,
that
I don't think. I was gonna say, I don't think it's because like it's gonna be a rider versus rider show. I think it's because
Did Drago just cut off for anyone else, or is that just me?
okay, okay, fine. I was gonna say that I think it's more. It's like rider versus rider show is gonna be there, but more. It's more of gonna be those special smashes that showed up at the end.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have more of that. The smashes who use full bottles and can keep control of their smash forms instead of going berserk.
I mean maybe, but yeah, it could be that because like Hokuto like sends like a whole team of those guys, right? Their
Mm.
own like custom
That,
rider, so it should be
yeah, they're on.
interesting.
They're like a squad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they're
then
called like the
they
crows or
called
something.
yeah, and this guy is the leader. What do you call it? His name, Grease. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I gotta go. Bye bye.
Bye.
Laters.
We're not done yet, but we've pretty much covered everything. Banjo finds it hard to hate Sento because he's no longer the Katsuragi, but he also hates that he can't hate him. Now, that shows like how close they've come as friends, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean it's good character development. It's just like I wish like okay, it's a little bit of character. It's just it's weird saying this because like the show was all fucking Ryuga, and now I'm like okay, slow down, give them a little more time to develop, but like there's so much going on. I guess we don't have time now. But at least there's yeah, you're right. Like at least we feel like all the okay, except Sawa who freaking disappeared, right? All
Oh
the
god!
people who showed
Oh
up,
god! I forgot she was a character.
yeah, right.
This
Like
is get.
everybody who
She's going to
go
be
ahead.
like Hero's father next aid, where I keep forgetting he's a character until he's on camera.
Oh no, please. Anything with that.
That was so sad. Okay, you at least had an excuse with Hero's dad, like he's running a hospital,
Right?
right? Like he's busy.
He
And secondly, they do explain where he was. He tried to fight
he
the
tried to be a
Bucksters.
ride player. He
Yeah,
didn't get
it didn't
very
work.
far.
I mean, like at least he had an excuse. I don't think Sarah's gonna have any.
No, she's not. Unless her excuse is, well, I'm not a fighter, so I'm staying the fuck out of the way.
What about that freaking like 3-story drop nonsense and taking out like the security
I
guard?
keep forgetting that happened.
I know, right? Like if that didn't happen, I would be totally on your side. But I'm like, she's like a super spy at this point. Like she's fucking female James Bond with that
She,
shit. Like
she's just gonna be a generally inconsistent character, isn't she?
I know. I mean, like with the war, you can give her something to do. You can make her like a spy or
I've
something,
covered
or maybe
wars, you know.
yeah. I was gonna say like maybe she's in the southern sector trying to get information because they haven't made a
Toto, or
move.
no, not Toto, Sato. That
Yeah,
would make
Seika.
sense. Find out
Yeah.
what Sato is up to. So, when Hokuto attacks, and Banjo has to save Sento because his guild is catching up to him, he's the one that pep talks him into saying, reminding him that he's a hero and he's not who he was before. But he also comments, "This doesn't mean I've forgiven you." I don't think that they should drop this. I really hope that they come back to this later after things have calmed down a bit and they have a chance to, because there's a lot that Katsuragi did that Sento can't just forget about it in one episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Ryuga's character, he's kind of just gonna move on quickly because he kind of vented with Misora. So I wouldn't be too bothered by it if he gets over it, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
No, I mean, like, as it would be kind of interesting to see him hold a grudge, but I'm like, where are you gonna go, right? Like, there's two endings. One, he forgives him. All right, there's three endings. It's like one, he forgives him. Two, they have to fight. And three, he's still angry at the end. Like, he's still angry at the end is stupid. The first one is most likely what's gonna happen, so we might as well just move on. And secondly, unless they do a really good job of setting up this fight between them, like, it's just gonna feel like it was just thrown in because we had to have the writers fight.
All right. What if they do with them what they did with Edgy and Honk? Honk, not
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the only way. But I'm like, the difference is like Build is teaching Ryuga how to be a writer. You know, it's not like two different writers with like their own sets of morality and like way of looking at the world coming together and working together. You know, it's not like Forza and fucking Meteor. Like, basically, that's the like this fight has to have some kind of insanity on that level. The Ankh and Edgy thing makes sense, but like, it's weird because like Bill taught him everything about being a good guy. You know, like,
but that doesn't mean he can't develop his own set of right and wrong.
I mean, he could, but yeah. The problem with that would be like, then he's like, Build would have to continuously fuck up as the show goes on for that to become like a reoccurring plot point where like it's just building up in Ryuga and then they have this fight in like the final arc or something, but like
it doesn't even have to be the final arc. It can be next arc. I just want them to come back to this because it feels like it deserves more than just one episode to write it off.
Yeah, I could see it, but I don't know, man. It would take a really good writer to be able to pull it off. And as like decent as Build has been lately, like, I don't know, can it handle that many levels of insanity? Like a couple writers can do that. You know, like some people can. Like X8 somehow managed to do almost everything. Like, I don't know. It would depend on how much like, oh, this writer's coming in, this arc is said about this thing. Because if they haven't put aside the time for that fight, like, it would feel really lackluster, I would think. Because they've hit like a good starting point and like the fight, but like to get to the fight, I think Ryuga has to get a lot more pissed off.
Yeah, you're right. If it's not going to be done well, then it would probably better to have nothing. So here's hoping that if they do try going down that route, they do it good. And then the last thing is something we've already touched upon. Now that Hokuto has begun its invasion, with Soichi giving advice to the Prime Minister, she's also sent in her squad of Smash that can control their abilities, led by Kamen Rider Grease, straight out of Hokuto, blasted his own entry through Skywall. Seriously, did you get a good look at the size of the hole he left in Skywall?
I thought that was just like a passage, or did he actually make that?
I assumed he made it, because that didn't look natural. I mean, maybe it was like an existing passage, because there are those, but I like the idea that he made that himself.
Oh, that'd be pretty intense. Go ahead, Dragon. I mean, Decade.
Sure. How about that actor?
We haven't seen
his actor yet, but it's probably that guy that's been hyping up Kamen Rider Grease for the past month.
Which guy?
There's this guy on social media that's been dropping hints about the new Kamen Rider that's going to be in Build. and the rumor is that he's the actor.
Wait, you guys don't know who the actor is?
Okay.
I
All
haven't
like
heard an
I've
official
seen
word.
an image and I'm like, all right, did you cast like Neo Heisei? Oh god, Neo
No.
Heisei. Why am I using this word? Okay, post-decade Heisei Tachibana from Blade.
No, I don't know who the actor is.
I know it's not.
Guys!
Hi.
Hello.
Okay,
Welcome
so
back.
from that one shot in the preview, you guys couldn't tell who it was.
Oh, you know what? I wasn't really paying attention to the preview.
Okay.
Who's the actor?
It's Kurenai Otoya.
Oh, that's right.
What?
Now I
Yeah.
saw a thing on this.
Yes!
I forgot. Oh my
What?
god.
So hype!
Okay.
The second I saw him, I just like shouted.
You're talking about the
shit.
person that's playing Grease?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you might want to follow Build Writer News. I learned about the actor long ago from their blog.
Yeah, I just
cool.
so I also learned about this a while ago and I was super excited back then. I forgot in the time it took us to get to this point.
Oh jeez, you had some good holidays,
There's
I
one
guess.
reason why I'm a bit behind. I wish I could binge watch Kamen Rider and Super Sentai on my TV. But unfortunately, the only device I have that can use HDMI is buggy.
Why not your computer?
It doesn't have a. I prefer to do it on the TV so that I can still be on my iPad while watching. But the computer I have that does work well doesn't have HDMI ports.
Time for an upgrade.
I was gonna just say get Chromecast or something. Whatever. Yeah, that sucks, man. I know it's kind of fun to watch like tokusatsu on like big screens, but it's so hard to set it up usually. Like I can do it, but like, I have like tons of time.
That just reminded me of
See,
something.
my friend set my up for me where I have an HDMI cord and I just plug into my TV and it shows everything on both screens.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how it would be with my laptop. But like I said, it's buggy. But what website do you usually use to watch Super Sentai and Kamen Rider?
I download TV Nihon's fan subs.
I found like
I know of two sites.
There's quite a few out there.
Yeah, I mean, I found like one that had like all the TV and stuff. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, you guys go ahead.
It's the kissasian.ch.
Okay, so here's my only problem with the Kiss sites, and it's that they have become an ad-infested cesspool that should be avoided.
Even with ad blocker, you're gonna get some viruses.
I still use kimcartoon.me and kissanime.ru to use those sites, but normally I use the Kiss Asian to watch Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, but there was one thing that was not available on it, but I actually found another site that did have it.
For those of you listening to this, you might be wondering, hey, is what we're talking about right now illegal? Kamen Rider and Super Sentai are, for the most part, not available in North America. If they were to get localized, which some Sentai recently have, then those would be, yes, illegal.
I should probably keep my mouth shut then.
Only if you're talking about places to watch Jew Ranger through Mega Ranger at this point, which have been localized to North America and can be purchased.
I was only gonna talk about Kamen Rider Shin.
That does not exist in North America.
So I'm guessing that actor who is hyping up Kamen Rider Grease, he's the kind of cutesy one in the beanie that can turn into a smash, but he wasn't actually Kamen Rider Grease. Yeah,
I think all of them can turn into Smash. I think that's their gimmick.
Yeah, maybe. But anyways, I'm so freaking hyped.
Actually, from what I'm seeing, from some information I read, they actually are using three special full bottles to transform.
Well, let's see what the episodes bring us.
Because, this is actually from like that like Build Rider news. Like one of them uses a special castle full bottle.
Yeah, but we don't talk too much about things that like haven't happened yet.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
we
that actually is making me think of the whole thing with the new Super Sentai.
we're not talking about Sentai tonight. Tonight is Rider. Tuesdays are Sentai.
I just meant it in the sense that when the new one was initially leaked, I didn't think much of it because it was just a rumor.
And
I mean,
go on.
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go on.
All right. Shit, I didn't freaking think it was Otoya, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for his actor returning. And he looks great. He looks better than
Yeah,
he did in Kiva.
Well, the thing is, like, he had like oversized suits in Kiva, so like he never looked normal.
They had to like play up his age a bit. I get that, but still.
Dude. Okay, Megumi was older than Yuri.
What?
Yeah, I think that's something like that. Or
Just
they
like
were
with
the
American
same
actors,
age, or
I'm not all
Megumi
that
might have been
usually
older.
familiar with the Japanese actors. More of just the characters.
Yeah, so like either Yuri was the same age or she was younger than Megumi, because yeah, that insanity. That's why like Yuri is in like the Sailor Moon like musical, the newest one that came out, because
she
she's so
is?
freaking young. Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. She was Sailor Jupiter, I think.
Oh, I love Sailor Jupiter. I had a crush
Yeah,
on
me
her when I
too.
was a kid.
I think everybody
Sailor
did.
Moon was one of my earliest.
Well, most people had a crush on Mars.
And
Mars,
I'm
really?
actually
I
not
mean-
the kind of guy to get crushes on fictional characters. But out of every single anime I've seen, there's only one character that I would be willing to date.
Alright, go on.
I'm not exactly sure if you ever heard of the anime, but Monster Musume.
Nope, never heard of it.
Also known as Everyday Life with Monster Girls.
Still never heard of it. You're right. So, even if you tell me who it is, I wouldn't know who you're talking about.
Well, basic synopsis.
We don't need the basic synopsis right now. Sorry, but we're actually getting ready to wrap up.
Oh.
Sorry, man.
I don't mean to, I'm not trying to be rude
No,
here.
we can talk about it.
We just don't want to get too far off topic.
I get what you mean. Well, although there is something I do want to say that actually involves the podcast in general.
Sure, go ahead.
Go on.
There's actually a bit of a simpler way to do the podcast than to have it in a separate server. You could just create a second voice channel in the original server specifically for the podcast.
This is the original server.
This is the server. Nexus is for like off-topic and general discussion.
Well, like I said, you could actually create multiple channels for different stuff, like one for general, one for off-topic, and so forth.
But some people might rather be in that channel and not this one is all.
It's fine. I mean, like, the thing is, it's got, like, mostly the same people now, but originally Nexus was designed to be just for anybody who was, like, a Toku fan, and this was going to be the podcast one, but, like, nobody shows up except the people who do podcasts usually. So, like, at this point, they're basically identical.
Curious. How many of you actually... Sorry, this is Toku related, but not Rider related. How many of you actually saw Power Rangers before Super Sentai?
Pretty much all of us.
I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not really like Sentai or Power Rangers fan. Like, I barely watch Sentai. I definitely don't like Power Rangers. But yeah, I used to watch it, you know, when it was on TV and shit. I mean, like, I didn't really grow up with it, but like, it was still on TV in the 2000s. I did watch a couple seasons.
I grew up with it a little bit, and I actually quite enjoyed the cinematic movie.
That one I haven't seen.
I saw it.
Anyway, let's just wrap this up, and then we can have this chat.
So, moving on to final thoughts about the episode. I thought this was a really good episode. This, I just love the way it sets up the next arc going forward. This is war. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I really liked the episode. I thought it was a pretty good touch going over the top with the whole Christmas not happening thing in in the recap and them getting all depressed. That was pretty cute because yeah, the show's about to get pretty damn serious. So yeah, I thought that was fun.
Chuckles, Zero, do
Yes?
you want to go first? I was gonna say, Chuckles. So this is where we just say our final thoughts about the episode, if you liked it or not, and if you're looking forward for more.
I do like Build, but as I said, I'm kind of behind.
Are you looking forward to catching up?
If I could somehow find a way to binge watch it on my TV.
Well, here's hoping you find your solution.
Thanks.
Zero?
Yeah, this was a pretty good episode, actually. Surprisingly, I would say Q Ranger was slightly better. But
Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so just go ahead, Zero.
I am
Okay,
getting
okay.
it, so the podcast is getting it.
all right, yeah. Episode was good. Good setup for the new arc. New writer and like bad guy designs look interesting. Can't wait for more.
Alright, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday to talk more about Key Ranger, and next Wednesday for the continuation of Build. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this was a good episode. And thanks for joining us, everyone. See you next time.
Decade, can you hear me? Okay, Decade's having a little trouble, but I'm sure Decade says goodbye. Chuckles, say bye to the audience.
Adios.